Your parents think you're broken, but here's the truth. Adults will literally never understand Gen Z, and I'm about to explain why it's not even their fault. There's actual neuroscience behind this. Your brain developed differently than theirs. You grew up in a completely different world. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why the gap between you and adults is actually impossible to bridge. Let's start with the brain. Your generation went through puberty while the internet was exploding. Your brain was literally wired differently than any generation before you. Adults grew up in a world where information was scarce. They had to go to libraries, wait for the news, trust what authorities told them. But you grew up with unlimited access to literally everything. Your amygdala is constantly activated because you're exposed to bad news 24/7, climate disasters, economic collapse. It's all there. An adult's brain says, here's the information. I'll decide. Your brain says, here are 47 perspectives. What if I'm wrong? What if there's a better option? What if this causes harm? That's not indecision. That's your brain being more conscious of complexity. Adults mistake it for anxiety, for overthinking. But it's actually more advanced. You're thinking in dimensions they never developed. You didn't just grow up with the internet. You grew up as the internet. You've been performing on social media since age 12, curating your identity, getting feedback, all publicly. Your digital footprint started before you understood what that meant. Your parents made mistakes in private. If they said something stupid in 1997, no one remembers. They could fail privately and learn privately. But you? Everything you said at 15 is still on the internet. Everything is permanent. Being yourself means being vulnerable to judgment from thousands of strangers. Adults have no idea what that feels like. They never had to grow up with their mistakes immortalized online for eternity. Your parents believed in a deal. Work hard, follow rules, get a degree, get a job, buy a house, retire. The system worked for them. But you? You watched that system collapse. You saw your parents lose jobs into that darker sky. You're watching the housing market become impossible to enter. You know hard work alone might not matter anymore. That's not depression. That's rational response to actual circumstances. You're not pessimistic. You're realistic. You're not being dramatic. You're being honest about what you see. You talk about mental health constantly. Your generation is the first to openly discuss anxiety, depression, ADHD, trauma without shame. You normalize therapy. You validate each other instead of pretending everything's fine. But here's the truth. You're not more broken. You're just honest about brokenness that always existed. Your parents were anxious too. They just suppressed it, drank about it, went to therapy in secret. You have language to describe your struggles. That's intelligence and self-awareness, not weakness. They literally cannot understand you because they didn't grow up with the tools to understand you. They're not stupid or bad. They're operating from a completely different framework than yours. Their entire reference point is different. The gap doesn't have to be a problem. It becomes a problem when they judge instead of get curious. When your parent says stop being on your phone, they're judging. If they asked why you need connection, what you're looking for, that's understanding. Some adults do this. The ones you respect. They ask questions without judgment and understand your world isn't wrong. It's just different. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not ungrateful. You're not too sensitive. You're adapted to a world completely different from your parents. You're operating on 2025 logic while they use 1995 rules. Your brain is more complex because it processes more information and more consequences. When you feel misunderstood, it's not because something's wrong with you. It's because adults apply outdated logic to a modern world. You understand adults because you grew up hearing their world. You speak both languages, they speak one. You're bilingual in generations. That's a superpower they don't have. When an adult doesn't understand you, remember, it's not a personal failure. It's just different experience. You're not broken. You're operating on a different frequency. If this video made sense, comment which part hit you. Send this to an adult confused about your generation. You're good exactly as you are. Your generation is brilliant and will change the world. Being misunderstood isn't a flaw. It means you're on a different frequency. And that's revolutionary.